Indeed. In fact, it was rather an interesting talk today because it was, on the one hand, they were saying how wonderful it is that Jersey lawyers go all over the world to represent people who've got bags of money. But the people in Jersey who haven't got bags of money, they can't go anywhere else to get a lawyer because you've got to employ a Jersey lawyer, a Jersey advocate or solicitor, are stuck with presumably the debris who are left in Jersey willing to help genuine Jersey people with their genuine Jersey matters.
Well, their charges are very high, probably double the price of that of the UK.
But this is one of the conflicts, isn't it?
Well, that's the problem with hosting an international finance centre. It may generate all this wealth, but of course for the ordinary public, finding a simple lawyer to do things affordably is extremely difficult. To get any form of advice is expensive. And
we assume that the best lawyers are going international because they can command, what, £1,000 an hour? What do they get? And more, who knows what fees they get on the international circuit. So those are the best legal brains, presumably, are selling them in the Seychelles or somewhere else, or Cayman Isles. That's where they're giving their best Jersey legal knowledge about matters which don't affect the ordinary Joe public at all, do they?
Well, they're concerned with the matters related to the finance industry and how it operates. But for the ordinary person who's living in the island, their services are out of reach. Yeah, we know that, and the government's undertaking a access to justice review. We wait to see whether there'll be a legal aid system set up, funded by the government. One suspects not, given their reluctance and the state of public finances, which they claim is their reason for not having funded one before. But as the matter stands, the profession is actually covering the liability of the government to provide a legal aid service to the public.
Again, the thought was going through my mind as I was sitting there today, well, if there's 320 lawyers who are, in theory, of their Jersey lawyers, and so few of them are wanting to do work for ordinary guys with no money, why not bring in outside lawyers? Why not open it up? Why on earth should they have this monopoly so that only Jersey lawyers can operate here? Why not allow in the child abuse case, of course, there's notably an English lawyer, Alan Collins, who's been representing 60 or so cases, local cases. What's the harm? Well, here's an English lawyer who's prepared to take on these cases. Jersey lawyers were very reluctant to do so.
They want to protect the jurisdiction and that monopoly, which ensures that capital actually flows to this island and flows through. Likewise, they have a legal profession which they wish to protect. It's maintaining a monopoly.
So
it's a conspiracy against the public.
Obviously, ending the monopoly isn't an automatic formula, but at least it was an experiment worth trying, I would have thought.
To reduce costs. Well, it's surprising with all these lawyers.
And to get expertise, of course. This is at least you bring in somebody who's an expert in property law, marriage, divorce, family matters. You get the expert that you want, don't you?
Well, I'm sure lots of Jersey lawyers actually go and get advice in the UK. They will go to another aspect.
And you'll finish up paying 2 lawyers' fees because they very often go and get a QC's advice in the UK to advise them on anything that's at all technical, medical negligence especially. So you finish up.
Well, everything is very special. It's complex, increasingly so. And
I mean, your case, unless that mysterious case hadn't come out of the bag, Flynn, Deputy Bailiff's judgment, presumably you'd have had to go and look at UK precedents, and that was in fact what happened. There was lots of UK precedents being floated around when the case was being heard, wasn't it?
And it's a different petition system for disputed elections has a different origin completely from that which exists in Jersey. It's a different law here. And
so you're a footnote in history on this. Is that sufficient, or do you think more ought to come from this case?
The issues that will come out will be for candidates to get their ducks in a row, to make sure that they fill their documentation in properly. There's also a warning to, I suppose, parishes and to electoral officers to check, so hopefully this sort of mistake won't occur again. Shows the deficiencies in the law in relation to the duties that are owed by the parish and in relation to candidates, and the law is defective, I would say. Of course in the UK it's a lot more stringent and comprehensive.
I mean, like so many laws, as soon as you touch a law in Jersey, all of a sudden it's been declared not fit for purpose. It's just so neglected, isn't it, the legal system?
Well, it's because
all aspects of it.
the law has become so much more complex elsewhere, because we're dealing with states, national states, nation states, and they're capable of drafting legislation which becomes ever more complex and supporting it. But of course for small jurisdictions that's quite a burden. But there's an expectation in the modern world of by the public that the same standard should apply regardless.
Well, I hope to live and see it when it happens, but I don't think I will. I remember, I think it was a previous law report, either Closier or Lacane said a suggestion was put forward that Jersey ought to abandon Jersey law in its entirety and adopt the law of another jurisdiction. Probably that won't happen in our time. But
Unlikely, indeed.
thanks, Nick.